healthy relationships. This morning we're discussing about developing tolerant attitude toward others. We'll start with a meditation song to inspire us in this message. Relational health and its prescriptions. What is a basic requirement for relational health? Last time we mentioned that the foundation is connection or connectedness among the parties concerned. And in order to develop this foundation of connectedness or connection among the parties, we derive 6 prescriptions from the Bible in order for a believer to develop his relational health. And we came up with an acronym. And these are resoluteness for R, E for empathy, L for lowliness in heart, A is accountability to peace, or ability to peacemaking, T is for tolerance, and E is emotional management. So the acronym is RELATE for easy remembering. This morning we discussed the letter T, which is tolerant attitude toward others. Again, for easy remembering, clean as you go, fly go. Dito sa next call natin. Sa ating din is tackle, tolerant attitude toward others. Tolerance, what does it mean? From its etymology, from its root word, it comes from the Latin word tolerantia, which means a bearing, supporting, or endurance. In the dictionary by Mr. Webster, tolerance is defined as the capacity to endure pain or hardship. It's an acceptance or indulgence of behavior, beliefs, and practices of others that differs from us, and also the act of allowing something. Sa Tagalog dictionary, hindi ako Tagalog, pero hindi ako, ang tolerant attitude means magpapahubaya, pababayaan, and pag-ibig. This illustrates tolerance.
Τι είναι αυτό? Ένα σκουλίδι νωρίτερα. Ένα σκουλίδι. Σπουδί. Τι είναι αυτό? Γιατί το κάνεις αυτό το πράγμα? Μπορεί να πεις τόσους φορές ένα σκουλίδι και να μεταδρείς. Πού πας?
Δυνατά. Σήμερα ο μικρός μου γιος που πριν λίγες μέρες έκλεισε δακτρία, εδώ μαζί μου έξω στο πάρκο όταν ήμουν στο σπιτί και ήρθε και κάθισε απέναντι μας. Ο γιος μου με ρώτησε 21 φορές τι ήταν αυτό. Το απάντησε και τις 21 φορές ότι ήταν ένα σπίτι. Αναγκάλεσε και φερέται τις 21 φορές που μου έκανε την ίδια ερώτηση, ξανά και ξανά, χωρίς να εκνευριστώ, κάθεται στο λίγιο του ανθρώπου να βρέχει.
What's the most impressive example of tolerant attitude towards others? They say it's this a golden wedding anniversary. Two people come from different backgrounds. And if they cannot live social, try to live together 20% for the past 50 years. Just a testimony of how one is tolerant to one another. People call it love, but I think the essence is still tolerating one another for the past 50 years. Now, what are the connotations of the term tolerant attitude insofar as the Bible is concerned? The first connotation is to be tolerant, is to be patient with, in the sense of enduring possible difficulty. And we have Ephesians 4:2 as our reference. With all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, that is being patient. The second connotation is to endure, and it pertains to what can be borne, what can be suffered. Acts 13:18. And about the time of 40 years, suffered he, or endured he, their wanderers in the wilderness. The third connotation is to bear up. It refers to the capacity to continue to bear up under challenging circumstances. 1 Thessalonians 1:3, remembering without ceasing your work of faith and labor of love, and patience of hope in our Lord Jesus Christ, in the sight of God and our Father. The fourth connotation is a tolerant attitude implies to get up with, which means in spite of annoyance, difficulties, discomfort, and inconveniences, we try to put up with all this. Our reference, 1 Thessalonians 3:5. For this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith lest by some means the tempter that tempted you, and in our labor be in vain. 1 Thessalonians 3:5, and the connotation of putting up with. The main connotation is to persevere. To have a tolerant attitude implies perseverance, and it simply means to continue to persist in any undertaking or state. Hebrews 11:27, our reference, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured, he persevered, as seeing him who is invisible. Hebrews 11:27. So insofar as the biblical context is concerned, tolerant attitude connotes to be patient, to endure, to bear up, to put up with, and to persevere. To sum up in the scriptures, therefore, a tolerant attitude towards others is first linked with love, the agape love, the selfless kind. Second, biblical attitude starts with being others-centered rather than self-centered. The next question is, how do we apply in specific situations this tolerant attitude connotations in the Bible? First, the specific application can be in terms of loving and be considerate of others, even if they ignorance. Second, is being patient and forgiving of others in their errors, in their shortcomings, in their defects. Third, is being understanding with those even who are weaker than us. Let's look at the first, being loving and considerate of others. We have Matthew 5:43 and 47 as our references. Our Lord Jesus Christ himself said, "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. For if you love them which love you," verse 47, 46, "what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same?" So being loving and considerate, adopting the tolerant attitude means that we are to recognize and respect other parties with dignity as persons. We seek to understand and know others beyond our expectations, beyond our experiences, or even beyond our comfort or convenience. The second specific application of a believer in so far as tolerant attitude is concerned is being patient and forgiving of others' weaknesses and shortcomings. Our reference, Matthew 18, verses 21 and 22. Then came Peter to him and said, "Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times?" Verse 22. Jesus said unto him, "I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. That's how tolerant. Being patient, accepting, and forgiving. It brings us to the idiomatic expression, warts and all. Warts and all. This is an idiomatic expression, which means to bear and to accept the whole thing in spite of imperfections. The idiom traces its origin from the story that Oliver Cromwell, who was then Lord Protector of England. Cromwell engaged the services of Lely, a popular courting artist at that time. Lely's painting style was intended to flatter his subject by showing him in the best possible light, if not to be outright fanciful. Cromwell's face was badly disfigured by warts. Wala pa noon si He instructed his portraitist, Deacon, to paint him in his way and not to idealize his appearance. While sitting, Cromwell said to him, Mr. Deli, I desire you would use all your skill to paint my picture truly like me, but remark all these practices, pimples, warts, and everything as you see me. Otherwise, I will never pay an argument for that subject. Lesson from Cromwell's Wart and All. So far as tolerant attitude is concerned, we are to accept and in fact endure each other's differences just the way they are. Warts and all. The third application is being understanding, especially with those who are weaker than us. Our reference, Romans 15, verses 1 to 2. We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves. We are therefore to focus on other people's strengths and not their weaknesses. The fourth situational position where we can practice tolerant attitude is by dwelling on points of agreement and things we have in common. Our admonition comes from Romans 14:19. Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace, not for things that are disagreements, and things wherewith one may edify another. Romans 14:19.
If I have wounded any soul today, if I have caused my foot to go astray, if I have walked in my own willful way, dear Lord, forgive me. If I have uttered my words obeyed, if I have turned aside from God, lest I myself shall suffer through the strain, dear Lord, forgive. If I have been the cause of harm, if I have not foreshadowed in the fall, when Thou hast given me some thought to God, dear Lord, forgive. Forgive the sins I have confessed to Thee. Forgive the secret sins I do unseen. Oh, guide me, love me, and thy keeper be.
Summing up, in terms of specific situations, we apply tolerant attitude by being loving and considerate, by being patient and forgiving, by understanding those who are weaker than us, and by dwelling on points of agreement and things we have in common. According to a traditional Hebrew story, Abraham was sitting outside his tent one evening when he saw an old man wearied from age and journey coming toward him. Abraham rushed out, greeted him, and then invited him into his tent. There he washed the old man's feet and gave him food and drink. The old man immediately began eating without saying any prayer or blessing. So Abraham asked him, "Don't you worship God?" The old traveler replied, "I worship fire only and reverence no other God." When he heard this, Abraham became incensed or angry, grabbed the old man by the shoulders, and threw him out of his tent into the cold night air. When the old man had departed, God called to his friend Abraham and asked where his treasure was. Abraham replied, "I forced him out because he did not worship you." God answered, "I have suffered him these 80 years, although he dishonors me. Could you not endure or tolerate him one night?" Tolerant attitude. Oftentimes it's so difficult to lay down the boundaries. So let's look at tolerant attitude toward others, what it is not, especially in so far as the believer is concerned. Tolerant attitude means that we should not be tolerant of evil or deliberate wrongdoing. Tolerant attitude is not moral indifference. Tolerant attitude is not being broad-minded or yielding to the flow of popular thinking, forgetting our convictions, forgetting God's word. As somebody says in the Lord that tolerance applies only to persons, never. Now, what are the biblical bases on which the believer could dwell on, or where he can be inspired in terms of developing his tolerant attitude? The first basis, God shows supernatural love, patience, and tolerance with us. We should do the same to others. If God is tolerant with us, why shouldn't we to others, especially fellow believers? Psalm 86:15. "You thou, O Lord, art a God full of compassion and gracious, long-suffering, and plenteous in mercy." 2 Peter 3:9, a reference that as God is merciful, compassionate, and gracious to us. The Lord is not concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. The second basis is the Lord is not only gracious, tolerant with us, he also expects us to be tolerant toward others. We see this in Luke 9:54. "And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elijah did?" Colossians 3:13, the expectation of our Lord not to be tolerant with others, forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. Colossians 3:13. Consider this. It took God 5 days to create the heavens, the earth, the sun, the moon, and every living thing. 1 day to fashion man in his image before the fall of man. Ever since the fall, God has been working on restoring us with ever tolerant. The third basis is we aspire to be the people God calls us to be. If we are to make the most relationships, however challenging they are, it will be because we are trying to be better than to become who we are. Matthew 5:46-47, our reference. "For if you love them which love you, what reward can ye? Do not even the publicans the same? Verse 47, and if you salute your brethren only one do you more than others, not even the publican so. Verse 47. Why is tolerant attitude toward others important? We give 5 reasons. And this has implications to our spiritual growth and spiritual difference. Our tolerant attitude engenders gentleness towards others. If we are patient and persistent and tolerant, our gentle expressions are far more likely to change hearts and opinions than anything else. A reference, Proverbs 25:15. For by long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. The second reason, our tolerant attitude helps parties to whom tolerance is extended. It allows people tolerated to accept who they are, most importantly, to develop their strength and potential. We just have to revisit famous people who were slow starters, but with tolerant attitude by people around them have developed to the fullest. Winston Churchill, for example, seemed so dull as a youth that his father thought he might be capable of earning a living in England. Jacob Chesterton, the English writer, could not read until he was 8. One of his teachers told him, if we could open your head, we should not find any brain, but only a lump of white fat. Thomas Edison's first teacher described him as adult. His father almost convinced him he was a bunch. Albert Einstein's parents feared their child was dull. He performed so badly in all high school courses, except mathematics, that the teacher asked him to drop out. Without tolerance, these people will not develop as fully as they are. The third reason why we should be tolerant is that it allows for reasoning, openness, and respect. When we look at people with tolerance, we can listen to them and treat them with openness and respect, even though we disagree with them. The fourth reason is we're called for to be tolerant in our witnessing role. As representatives of Christ, we have to recognize and respect others with dignity. Operating in the fruit of the Spirit, we are to accept others in love. Indeed, we cannot glorify God in the midst of envy, strife, anger, and bitterness. We share our testimony most effectively by example, by our tolerant attitude. Character is what more than it is told. Indeed, Christian modeling is a necessity. Teaching of it is secondary. And of course, the fifth reason is we are tolerant, we have peace, we have blessings, we have happiness. Colossians 1:11, strengthened with all might, according to His glorious power, unto all patience and long-suffering, resolved with joyfulness. Colossians 1:11. How do we develop then tolerant attitude toward others? 6 steps. First step to undertake: own your feelings. The practice of tolerance is more about relationship with oneself instead of with other people. When something bothers us about someone else, it's good to remember that it is bothering us, not the other person. We must therefore be accountable to our reactions and the consequences resulting from our critical attitudes which generate intolerant feelings. When we are intolerant of the behavior of others, are we not using God's gifts and sacrifice to denigrate His creation? When we dwell on the faults, errors, and shortcomings of others, are we not forgetting the work of the gospel in us? When we view others through the lens of their flaws or defense, imperfections, do we not doubt the power of the gospel for them? Own our feelings. We're responsible for the consequences. The second step to be undertaken is look within yourself. We must analyze why we are being intolerant. Our social background and past experiences can say a lot about your current opinions or way of acting. We must foster our own self-esteem by looking within. Oftentimes, people have low or negative self-esteem are those most likely to be intolerant of others. Remember that the first step towards tolerance is to accept others by accepting ourselves. Intolerance only proves that we are insecure persons. If we feel more secure and confident in ourselves, we find we are more open-minded and tolerant of other people. The third step is keep your perspective. Even in the worst times, someone has shown us kindness and patience. This will serve us well today, that kind of grace, that compassion, that mercy forward. Being patient in a relationship is highly important. Certain attitudes or habits may take time to correct, so let us make sure we do not get frustrated with the other person, however long it takes. Let us try to understand the other person's point of view. Let us resist the urge to totally discount what they are doing. We must learn to empathize. You may have very different backgrounds and experiences to go on. So put yourself in their shoes. Fourth is, we must appreciate and value differences. People who value difference and diversity are generally more tolerant of others. Let us try to see past the person. We must learn to focus on what makes us like the other person and value what makes us different. Acknowledging the positive on the other side will help us tolerate others. If we do this, we'll discover that the good often balances out the bad. Remember, people are not the same. Remember, they are not clones of each other. It's highly probable that we'll differ in one or more subjects, in our personalities, and even our points of view. The sixth is to ask God for assistance. It helps to remind ourselves that no one is perfect. So we should be tolerant. For all we know, we may have more shortcomings and defects which others are tolerating us with or have tolerated us with. The sixth is remember change is anything. The majority of people in our lives are only around us in certain circumstances or for a certain amount of time. We should accept others as belonging to different levels of maturity. We should realize that everyone is at varying levels of character development, spiritual growth, and development. No matter how pestering and annoyance can be from that person, remember it's only temporary. A woman was asked by her pastor what her favorite verse or scripture was. She said, and it came to pass. But she said, for God in His mercy never gives us more than we're able to bear. When you have an annoying person, or some causes you to be intolerant, remember, change always is inevitable. We ask God's assistance. Tolerant attitude is rooted in the knowledge of God's forgiveness and understanding. One of the most powerful hymns in reconciliation and forgiveness was composed in the last half of the 20th century by a man called Fernando. His first stands against its scriptural basis from Romans 15:7. Receive one another then, just as Christ also received you to God's glory. Stanza 2 asks for grace to accept all people unconditionally. Gives us to care for people, for all, not just for some, to love them as we find them or as they may be loved. Stanza 3 mentions of forgiveness that is followed by the healing power of doctrine, until we know by heart the table of forgiveness and doctor's healing art. Stanza 4 states that forgiveness and acceptance free us, it makes us one. Now here is a hymn. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time. Accepting hardships as a pathway to peace. Taking as He did the simple world as is, not as I would have it. Trusting that we will make all things right if I surrender to His will. That I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with Him forever in the next. Amen. Tolerance, that only does. Thank you.